last a lifetime. This moment is brought to you by National Cream Crackers.
Up Yout is powered by National Baking Company in association with Cranwata, a Stanley and Empress production, giving the youth a voice.
Up Yout.
So we come to know these youths and show these youths. Talk up yourself, the youths to know them roots. Nurture them, protect and love and hear these youths. Music make them know I love we show these youths.
Make the save the youth, not kill the youth. I build we come for build the youth.
Up Yout encourages all youth to find tangible solutions for their issues. Are you ready for today's show? Today's topic is
we come for build the youth. Youth in action, Jamaica. We are
Build the youths there.
Up Youth in Jamaica.
Parenting is not an easy job, but it is the most important one. Our youth want to share their views on how to and how not to parent them. Mothers and fathers, listen up. Is your parenting style working?
We have to build the youths there.
Up Youth in Jamaica.
My issues with proper parenting and family life are absentee parents. There are a lot of parents who are either physically absent from the home or psychologically absent from their child's daily life, which can create a lot of rebellion amongst the child because they feel like they can't go to their parents to talk to them. Also, the excessive engagement with social media. A lot of parents and youths are so obsessed with what's going on the Twitter, the Instagram, that they don't even actually engage each other in the household. Dinners are eaten in silence because everybody's too in tune with their technology. And also this new phenomenon of child shaming, where parents go on social media and publicize the wrongful acts that their kids do, allow them to do embarrassing things to try and enforce discipline, but instead this creates a lot of hatred and resentment by the child to the parent and creates a greater chasm in the relationship.
My issues are the fact that parents are influencing negativism on children, so they are letting them do all the wrong things and letting them seem as if it's right. And also the whole fact of child neglect, where parents just have children and have them piling up on each other and not taking care of them, not teaching the morals that they need to have. And the last issue is the whole fact of moral and etiquette teaching, where they're not teaching the children to be young men and women of tomorrow.
Well, my issue is, and wait, I'm coming closer for this one, is where is the communication? You see, our parents like to preach that they're right, or there's a way you can come to me and talk to me about something, but as soon as they start talking, it's wait, when we're finished, don't speak up at me, no? Why?
Well, my issues as it relates to family and parenting are really early pregnancies. We have many children having children in this society, and many of these young adults are unprepared for the responsibilities of parenting. When these young mothers do drop out of the school system and get little to no support from the baby fathers, this results in a negative double effect, because the child suffers, the innocent child who unfortunately did not ask to be here under these challenging circumstances, and also the young mother suffer because the young mother is unable to adequately provide for the young child.
My issues, as I would agree with Camilla, is also absenteeism. This is very prevalent within our Jamaican society. And absenteeism is where a mother or father, either or both, is absent from the relationship under circumstances as divorce, death, or maybe migration, etc. This affects the child upbringing as it affects their function in society. Most children, for example, if raised by a parent, for example, a mother, they would often think that a father is irresponsible. If raised by a father, they think that a mother is unreliable. My second issue is technology. Technology is impacting drastically on our family relation, in that persons are now adopting mostly the traits from other societies, the very traits that our ancestors have fought so hard to maintain about themselves so that we can have a cultural identity. Many are now leaving these cultural traits to be blown to the wind, adopting that of the Europeans and that of the Americans, the very thing that we wanted a different for.
Some parents are very overly aggressive, very abusive, and some parents are just very lenient and absent. And in order to raise a child efficiently, you really need to find a balance between the two. The next is also the relationship between the parents themselves. the National Institute of Jamaica reported that there's a 12% divorce rate. And then also the Jamaica Gleaner said that 80% of children born in Jamaica are actually born out of wedlock, and most of which don't even have their fathers on the birth certificates. So I really think that we're also raising a generation of children that don't understand what a proper marriage looks like, and that can be very problematic in the long run.
We have to build the youths there. Up Yout in Jamaica.
This is Kevin too swayzy. This is Kevin too lazy. We'll take a break.
Take 3.
National Baking Company. Quality Jamaican product. Yo! Cheesy boats, the picnic, I gonna love them here. It's like a more popular than hopscotch and video games. Now this made with real cheese. They like cheddar grenades. It's like somebody set up a cheese war in your mouth.
It's shockingly cheesy.
Cheesy boats. Energize your taste buds. National Baking Company, made for Jamaicans by Jamaicans.
It's a wow scholarship. Cranwater, in association with Up Yout, donates 3 $100,000 scholarships to 3 deserving youth to enhance their educational and professional development. Cranwater, supporting youth with wow scholarships. Water with wow.
Parents are so confusing. I don't understand them at all. Sometimes when we are playing, they say, there is too much noise, tone down. When we are quiet, they are worried. They think that something is wrong. When you break your mother's precious glass, you'll hear, you're too clumsy. But when they break a glass, they say, it was only an accident, honey. Parents are so confusing.
We have to build the youths there. Up Yout in Jamaica.
All right, those were some great issues we brought up. And I would like to mention this. Studies currently show that daily, over 20,000 young mothers under the age of 18 give birth. And you know, Oshina, previously you mentioned that there are certain stereotypes and stigma attached to teenage mothers, and you said based on circumstances. Can you please explain what exactly do you mean by those circumstances?
What I mean by those circumstances is the situation that individual might have been in to be resulting at the end of the day as a teenage mom. Because what we fail to understand is that some of the circumstances that some of these teenagers may find themselves in is not necessarily of their own actions. I myself was a teenage mom, and I was raised by a cousin. I have a son that is for a cousin. He's my grandmother's nephew. And as a teenage mom, many persons in my community, first of all, the family split in 2. Because there are those who support him and there are those who support me. And if it weren't for my son, which gave them the reason to be stigmatizing me as a teenage mom, then maybe they would have crucified me alive, because no one believed that he was the one that molested me, that he was the one that did this to me. Is the fact that that child was born looking dead stamp of that man, why they believed me.
So where exactly is he now?
This child is living with me. I have to maintain that child. My grandmothers help me out. My father and my mother on the side where they can, because really for a fact neither of them worked. And my grandmother doesn't work. And as a teenage mom, I don't allow myself to be brought down low through stigmatism. What I did, I rise. I find a reason to rise. I thrive on music because art is my thing. Etana, people talk, I live on that music. I kaya, fly away, I live on those music. And on that point, I must say that I intend to change how persons maintain an outlook, their perspective on a teenage mom. Because what I intend to do is to elevate myself from the circumstance. Persons are trying very hard to drive me down with very negative things. So what I do to make a change is to communicate with my son. Maintain a strict communication. Self-pity is not love. So showing that child pity because of the circumstance in which he had came here is not love. And that is what most parents are doing now. They don't love their children, they pity their children. I intend to do better because I want to be a children advocate. I want to make a change.
It really reinforces in my mind that thought that we need to really move away from this idea of this village raising the children. Our village is corrupt and dysfunctional. Your own cousin, this is somebody who is your blood, who would have violated you in that way and then have the audacity to up and disappear. girl, I'm in law too. And I really am so proud to know you because we can all here make this change to put the laws in place. This is egregious and this is unacceptable because even now the Sexual Offences Act of 2011 would not allow your cousin to be liable for rape in that kind of way because of the whole idea. If you're underage, you know, if you guys were, you know, they consider you guys as children, you're just experimenting or something. This cannot be. How long are we going to continue this in our society? We cannot continue to have people who are supposed to trust violate us in this way, especially as young ladies, young women. You understand? We can't continue in this path. And, you know, it brings up even a more strenuous issue for me of the abuse of children because a lot of parents in your position feeling hurt, and as you said, your son looked exactly like the man who did this to you, would take that out on their children by abusing them, by beating them harshly, by trying to take out the pain that they felt to that man who did that to them on the child. And I think that's something that has got to stop. We need to try and resolve the situation that children don't choose the circumstances in which they're brought into this earth. You know, and parents, we can change that.
And even so, what we need to do, because as I speak on issue, the lack of cultural retention, as Jamaicans, we are just putting behind us that Jamaicanness, that Caribbeanness. Cultural retention, for example, the very same let a village, allow the village to raise a child. I mean, as a parent, it is impossible that you're going to know everything and be everywhere. And if it is that you want to blame a child for the circumstance you are in currently, being that you're ignorant of the fact that you're not supposed to be doing it, you should allow your community members to give you corrections, to give you judgments, to give you their perspective. Allow them to be able to look out for your child. So when your eye view is on something else, be trusted that someone else is helping you take care of your own.
I guess I agree to that, with that to an extent, but that's also what makes me fearful as well, because it is those community members who would be looking out for your child who come and violate them at the same time.
Yes.
You know? So it's like, that's an excellent lesson that we took from Africa, but that we have tainted in our own culture. And I feel like before we can get back to that, the parents have to take the responsibility first and foremost. You watch your child, you know how they operate. I mean, I tend to hear them say like, you know, if your child gets introverted and withdrawn, but not every child is an extrovert, not every child is expressive. So you know your child is more quiet, but something is off. You have to know as a parent first off before you even trust anybody else to tell you about your child, you know?
To be honest, I really wasn't ready for that because I didn't expect it. But like, I think one of the most beautiful things about that is you have expressed to us how you do it. And I think a good way of getting through this, getting out of it, is good communication. Because something that we lack, and it's very sad, is communication between the parent and the child. We don't feel safe, we don't feel comfortable enough to go to our parent and say, Mommy, Daddy, this is what's going on. Because they come at you with so much anger sometimes, or sometimes they don't listen to you because the generation gap allows for them to look at you and say, what you're saying is foolish, it don't make no sense. And because I'm older, I know more. And sometimes I say with age comes wisdom, but with age comes arrogance as well.
Despite the odds, and we have went off into the pessimistic side of parenting, there is the optimistic side to it. But bear in mind that parents need to communicate more with their children, as this is key. Have them understand their surroundings. Have them be able to come to you and speak to you. Right.
Well, you know what I realized? That it used to be me and my mother all the time. She used to come to me about something as simple as emptying the garbage bin in my room. And I wouldn't listen to her, you know. Not because it's not supposed to empty, but because sometimes the way she would have said it to me. I say, yo, Tristan, empty the garbage bin. Go empty it out now. I'm like, I'm watching some TV. And you realize that sometimes I just don't respond at the same time. I work out like a system. I don't want to say I'm tricking my mother to better think that I'm doing. Hope mother don't watch this. But I develop a strategy. So how you do it is, when she says something, you get like a time, you know? Or if you guys in an argument, don't answer right away, because all they're going to do is start an even larger argument. So you go back to her a couple hours later, or let's say a day later and say, hey moms, you know, yesterday you tell me to do this, we had an argument. I never too like how you do this, you know. And this is why. Instead of answering at the same time, because you angry, she's angry, there's no listening. When they're talking and hearing each other, you know, we're not listening. So just give them a little breathing space. Just a little bit, sweet her up a little bit, you know. and then go to her and say, hey, moms, this is what happened, so let's talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, kind of like to add to that whole aspect of parenting. Well, as a parent myself, I was a father. I actually took up the role of a father at age 17, while still at high school. I was in the whole CXC term, so it was like CXC time. My daughter was due for the April. So I had to take up a family. I had to take up the position of a man at a teen. So the whole thing of teenage pregnancy, that, because my baby mother, she was a teen and she still is. So the whole fact of teenage pregnancy has to do with parenting, because how we kind of like, had a child was because of, children as teenagers, we weren't like set with the morals, so that that you have limits to certain things. And I didn't see any limits, she didn't see any limits, because there were none evident. So we don't kind of like set ourselves, because if we were taught that from childhood and retain that knowledge, we wouldn't become parents. And now I am actually becoming a soldier. I'm becoming a soldier. So the thing that I had to do was to just give up half of everything. I had to just leave my daughter to the grace of God and my baby mother, because I couldn't afford being a father, and she and her family didn't want me around because I didn't have that finances to support it. And that kind of like took a toll on me till I actually start walking mad on the road, That was because the lack of parenting and both the lack of influences, because I didn't have any influences from my board growing up. I was abused by a brother. So that kind of like demoralized the way I see things, So being somebody who you have to influence yourself, you have to make some smart choices. I was close to being in criminal gangs to the point that I had to get my gun as a 17-year-old, and I had to just ensure that whatever I was doing, I was making the best of all my decisions. So at the end of the day, the influences that you have is the thing that drives you as a person. I didn't have any, so I had to just choose, know the streets and all of that. So at the end of the day, it's the whole thing of parenting.
Let me ask you something, right? Because you said something a while ago and it stopped me. It literally stopped me. I had to like step back for a second, like what you just said a while ago. Because I'm not sure if I heard you wrong or what, but what do you mean you have to give up that half of your life and leave your baby mother and child to God? Because don't get me wrong, no matter the circumstances, I don't think you should ever step back from being a father to your child.
No, I wasn't stepping back, I had to just alright, you have a thing in life that is sometimes, some people call it opportunities, but I call it just capitalizing. Because I had been in a situation where I was a farmer, I was a Rastafari, and I had dreadlocks, right? But because of the way of life that I chose, it wasn't presentable to my family, so they kind of like put me on the back burner. And there was a point where I had almost lost my life because of that, because of the area that I was, right? And at the end of the day, I had contacted my father to get some help to kind of like leave and, make life better. And the thing that he told me was, before he would have given me the chance to help myself, he would have ready for help to bury me. And that was a statement. So that at the end of the day, it kind of like set my mind. And because my other family, they weren't around to help per se, so I had to just let her take care of my child. And it's been months now. And if I ask her for my daughter now, she'd be like, no, because she doesn't have any evident reason why, just that I don't have the finances per se. So that's why I'm working and doing my best as a father. So it's not the whole fact of neglecting or rejecting your right as a father. It's just that you don't have that. In a time like now, your time doesn't really matter. It does, but to some persons it doesn't matter. It's the finances. So the thing that I would want to do as becoming a great father is to make all the positive and necessary changes in my life that will affect not only my child but her children, her generations. So I think that's the thing. We have to just make some positive changes.
Prior to me moving to Jamaica, because I was born in the States, I was born in a very aggressive environment. The only way my dad really knew how to speak to me was by cursing me out, threatening me, or just laying hands on me. And things were just getting to such a boiling point that my uncle and auntie in Jamaica decided to step in. So at 15, I moved over here, and my uncle, you know, he never really ever raised his voice on me. He's very into my life. You know, track practice, he's there, you know. School, how you doing? Talking to me when I'm making mistakes instead of just like, you know, coming at me and jumping down my throat and things like that. Actually being, you know, very active in my life. And because of that, and talking about communication, you know, even between my uncle and my aunt, you know, every decision that was made about me was made jointly and together and to, you know, everything like that. And because of that, you know, in just a few months' time, they were able to reverse 6 years of negative effects that were, upbringing that were caused, you know, in a, you know, abusive household in a way. Not fully abusive, but, you know, knives were drawn, things like that. So that's what the effects of positive fatherhood can really do.
And in addition to that, my experience is that my mom was a teen mom as well, and she, similar to you, Shane, did not have that support and the guidance necessary. So by the time she was my age at 22, she had about 2 children. And that actually inspired me, so I will make the right step in the right direction. And the fact that she communicates with me and share with me her experiences. I think in this day and age, parents need to share more of their experiences and speak more one-on-one to their children.
Thinking about parenting in a modern time, and technology has highly increased, and both parents and youth are on all the different social media platforms, and I think it has actually created a little bit of a competition online, because parents and kids are competing for the same likes, the same kind of attention, and so you tend to see the youth kind of going down this way of like showing it all, you know, whether it's just in, you know, inappropriately or cursing or behaving badly and stuff, and parents in trying to rival the youth is not always about like trying to compete with them at the parties or whatever, but many times trying to punish them on social media. So you tend to see, like, if you guys have done the research, you can look on Instagram, look on YouTube, you see parents having their kids walking around with signs like, I had sex early, you know, honk if you think I'm a bad child, or shaving their head. Like, that was a huge one where this parent, his son must be 8 years old or something, shave it into like an old guy kind of cut, has him like tears in his eyes and like, oh, he think he grown. I'm gonna let him, you know, like showing that on social media, and it's like, they're...
Yeah, and even like sometimes you see when they're involved in like gangs and stuff, like their father will like punch them and beat them up.
Right. And I mean, one girl even like her father shaved her hair on camera and put it up, and she committed suicide. And some people think it's funny. You know, some people, and I've seen a lot of my own counterparts laugh at it, like, yeah, that may I go to my picnic too. Like, no, like, don't do that.
Guys, so what I want to find out is how, as a good parent, you know, you discipline your child.
You definitely have to find that balance. And I don't believe that, you know, we should just throw, you know, physical discipline out the window. I believe that it's necessary. But the thing is that, you know, there needs to be moderation according to the crime. You get the according punishment. But the problem is sometimes the same punishment that you get for stealing, you're getting for leaving your shoes in the living room. Or sometimes the same or sometimes you do these you know, extreme acts, and then you get off scotch-free, so then you continue to do them. So I definitely feel that it needs to be a mix of talking. It needs to be a mix of, you know, maybe taking away privileges and all that stuff, but then there also needs to be physical when necessary.
As Caleb was saying, you need to find a balance in a middle ground. And so many parents, you know, you can't just go out and punish a child or ignore what they're doing. Find a middle ground. First of all, after communicating with your child, like you guys were saying, you're going to know what reaches them. Some children react to physical, you know, discipline. Some is more like a deprivation or whatever. I'm a twin, so me and my sister react differently. I love to talk, I love to be around people. So putting me in a room by myself, oh God, I go crazy, and I'll be like begging for forgiveness. Crystal, oh God, she loves to run away. Be in a room by herself, like we have arguments about it all the time because I love, you know, my attention. And so with our mom, what she had to do is she find a balance. So when she wants to reach me, she comes and she puts me aside and says, okay, you're not going to talk to anybody, you have to sit by yourself. You understand? With her, she decides to say, okay, I'm not going to give you your music. I'm not going to give you the little things that make you, you know, all quiet and reserved. Then you have to reach out to me, you know. So I feel like there has to be a balance. And if you're spanking your child, tell them why. Don't just beat them. Tell them why you're doing it and what you want them to do to correct the behavior.
And on that note, it is good to have parents know that they need to prioritize and know that once you begin to have children, they are your priority. They're not secondary to nothing. They are priority. Because as a nation, human resource is priority. So in order to experience a change, a development, because we are in a developing country, take good notes with our children, communicate with them well. When they want to say something to us, don't shut them out. And if we feel that they're talking absurd, then investigate. Do your own investigation. Don't just tell them that, yeah, tell lie. It won't go anywhere.
You know,
and you, same one, might regret that you said that to the child.
You know him when I said that, and I don't understand, you know, and a whole lot of people ask about it. How you as a mother or a father, I gonna see you at SPF, in your Brazilian or in your Tams, and you have a child, in child of lunch money.
Exactly. That is why I say it's good to do things in stages. But granted, for like persons like me where your childhood is robbed of you, it's not essential for you to just take it out on every and anybody. So once you grow your child, whatever it is that you wanted for yourself, see to it that you have your child achieve it. Because some persons, them dress up them children like big woman, some little baby girl in a big people hairstyle. Then by the time them 10, 11, them must go on like big woman if you treat them like big woman. So what you need to do is grow them in stages. When they're at such age, you allow them to do such things. You need to create that middle ground. So now you have to know that, okay, I can be my child's friend, but to what extent? Because you're first a parent.
Exactly, because I know so many parents where they're trying to be the besties with their kids, you know, and I mean, parents should be your first confidant, the first person you go to when you have a problem. But you need to expect some kind of instruction, like them, you know, Jamaicans would like to say, me and you are not size. It's true, we're not size. And you have gone ahead of me and done some things. So I feel like there should be a balance where, like, growing up, as kids, you know, we never used to talk that much, and our mom used to like pry it out of us, like, what did you eat for lunch or whatever? Now we chat so much, I feel so bad for her because we talk too much. But the fact of the matter is, you got that kind of communication open. But you know, when she put her foot down, all right, to step back, like she don't even have to say anything, you feel there's something changing in the room. So you can be that close where you know your parent and the parent knows the child like that, but they're the lines drawn. I can't step to her a certain way. And in the same way with parents, be close to your kids, know what they're up to, but don't condone negative behavior.
And that leads to the notion that our parents ought to live the life they expect their children to come and emulate. Because if you are going to behave like an immature person and your child come not knowing to take up responsibility, where should he learn this? You can't blame everything on institutions, church, school. What is your purpose? What is your role? What are you doing?
You know, parenting is lead by example, right? And this was a good discussion, but let's see how all parents are customary up on social media segment.
Lord have mercy.
We have to build the youths there. Up Yout in Jamaica.
I am here for you and you for me. So I will always love you, even through the hard times. If ever you need me, I'll be
Some moments
there.
last a lifetime. This moment is brought to you by National Cream Crackers.
It's a WOW scholarship! Cranwater, in association with Talk of You, donates 3 $100,000 scholarships to 3 deserving youth to enhance their educational and professional development. Cranwater, supporting youth with WOW scholarships. Water with WOW!
We have to build the youths there. Up Yout in Jamaica.
The thing is that the issues are always going to be issues. So you need to like have a solution to them by actually asking yourself, put yourself in the child's place. So if you're a neglected child, you'd want a parent who actually gives you the attention and acts as a barrier to all the negative influences that there can be and that there will be. So I think that parents now will have to be the main influencers of their children. So they need to watch all, if they can't watch all, at least watch some of the movies with them, listen to some of the music, and ensure that whatever you would like, your child is actually getting that. We were born on this earth for a purpose. So we need to actually find our purposes as parents and lead our children in the way they're supposed to go, you know?
I think that when it comes to the relationships, we shouldn't force something that's not meant to be, and that if the relationship is not going to be, or the relationship crumbles between the parents, we can still come together for the child's sake, meaning, okay, we're going to be separate as parents, but we have this child together and we're both responsible for them, for him or her. And I think that if we adopt that mindset, instead of having a broken home, we can work together and build the child. Yeah.
I think it would be a good solution to just reflect on our past and go back at least to our grassroots principle of having the community raise a child. Not that you're going to establish or pour out all your responsibilities on other members of the community, because bear in mind, the community doesn't have to be the whole community. It can be your church community, can be the school community, because many of these students, when they reside in a particular community, automatically they reside in a particular school. Now, we can have our community raise our child, give persons the permission per se to correct your child when they see them going down the wrong road, because as I said before, you won't be everywhere seeing everything. Also, where technology is concerned, a very good solution is to put some restriction to it, because some of these very things that they are being exposed to via technology is the very things that are having them becoming deviants per se to our society, because some of these cultures are not cultures acceptable in our society, but yet they are exposed to it. Not knowing better, they adapt.
Right. As Oshina's saying, I really believe that Jamaica needs to heal. We need to really regroup as a country, as a community. And so in order to do that, I think we need to reorient our nation to the mindset that parenting is important. It's a number one on the agenda. It's not secondary to anything, not looks, money, nothing. Parenting is number one. And so we need to reach our parents by going to every community, every level where they are, whether it's the schools, whether it's the churches, whatever. Everybody needs to be preaching this proper parenting thing. Now, I recognize that a lot of parents really don't know the way. I feel like many times when someone gets pregnant or makes someone else pregnant and they bring a child into the world, we assume they're supposed to know everything. They don't. And so we need to provide role models for those parents as well. We have great parents in our society who are doing good jobs. So in the same way, we have a show like Talk Up Youth. Let's about talk up adults. Let's about talk up big people. Parents who have done something, who have raised their kids right, and who can now give tips to other parents to say, you know what, I was a single mom, but this is how I did it. We were parents, we co-parented, this is how we raised our kids. So that other parents can say, no, okay, this is what I can do to help my youth to get to where their kids are, or even farther. Also, I think that we need to really engage and reach parents where they are as well. So in the same way youths are on social media, parents are there too. We have all of these funny meme pages to just make us laugh. Have a little parent tip page, like a parent, hotline or something that they can go to. Boy, I don't know what to do, my child is acting up, how do I resolve it? Somebody can send a little, even a WhatsApp group, a voice note. This is what I did when my child did the exact same thing. And they can do it and it might work. So we create a community of parents who are helping each other out.
Yes, I definitely love these solutions. And one perfect solution, our programs just like Talk Up Youth, right here, where we are youths here expressing our views and giving tips for proper parenting. For me, my mother being a teenage mother, she related to me and communicated effectively to me, sharing her experience. And she was very relatable to me. I would definitely encourage other parents to be relatable as well, and to try to find that middle ground, try to find that balance, try to communicate with your children. Don't keep them in the darkness from some of your experiences. Share with them, tell them what you've been through, let them understand the challenges that you faced when you were growing up, so they can have an understanding of where they're going as children. In addition to this, we need more powerful empowerment campaigns. Right. We know that there are many young mothers out there and they don't know the way to go. So we need to have more programs within the communities targeting the community specifically. I know there are excellent programs like the CSJP that are actually doing this. Maybe we need to provide more funding to expand programs like the CSJP to empower and to inspire parents to take responsibilities for their actions. Right. You have parents out there, some of them, they have steps of children. They have one that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Every year there's another child. Parents need to understand that these children are innocent. They didn't ask to be here. And as such, parents need to understand that they need to take responsibilities. I know that 90 million programs that we have that will encourage encourage and to share the importance of parenting might not help to change that. So parents, you need to look within yourself and understand that you are the one who needs to make that change, and you need to look within yourself and really understand what you want for the future of Jamaica. What do you want for your child in the future?
Yeah, so like, my solutions are very simple. It's talk up, right? So parents, create an open environment. Literally ask your child, why is it that, well, you're not going to say, yo, but you're going to say, hey, Jimmy, why is it that, you don't feel comfortable coming to talk to me? And really listen. Don't just hear what them have to say, but listen to what them have to say. And also, this is the key part, So the key part, talk with your child and not at your child. Yeah, you almost say with and not at.
Right. And another thing that goes to the core of proper parenting, parents out there are, better yet, single people out there who are not yet parents, take precautions. And don't, because we have this mentality in contemporary society. We are no longer searching for partners that we can work with. We're searching for partners who have financially stable to support you in your lifestyle. It won't work. Because after a child has come into the picture and both of you separate, there is nothing common, no common moral value, no understanding, no nothing. Because this was not a person selected for you to work with. It was just someone to give you a couple dollars.
Yeah, and to kind of like close all of that, the thing is that whatever you see in yourself is the same thing that you see in your children or your child. So if you are a person who is reputable and somebody who has earned the respect of others, that means you should also teach a child that way so that they will become whatever you were, because we are actually the reflections we are actually the reflectors, and our children are the reflectors. So it's influence.
Right. And I think, guys, this was a wonderful conversation. We really brought up a number of points. We had our sensitive moments and our hype moments. But let's throw it back to the celebrity interview.
Have you been to Jamaica before? And if so, did you like it?
Yes, I've been to Jamaica, and it is one of my top 3 places in the world that I love to go to. I absolutely love Jamaica.
This is a show for the youth and by the youth. What do you want the young generation to learn?
Wow, what I'd love for you all to know and to learn is that there are no shortcuts to success, and anything worth having is worth working for and working towards. So goal setting is very, very important. I'm a huge advocate of education, finishing your education and learning the most about anything that it is that you want to do and becoming an expert at it. And don't think that you can just cut through the back door for success. I believe that longevity comes from a lot of hard work.
How important is it to talk up, aka let your voice be heard?
I really, want to stress this to the young ladies out there. So many times, we don't speak our mind and we don't speak up for the things that we want. And it's okay to speak up and to express what's on your heart, what's on your mind. So many times we hold things on the inside, and that's not healthy mentally, physically, or spiritually. So if it's something that's on your mind and on your heart and you want to speak up, there are no right or wrong. The only wrong is that you didn't say what you really felt and what you intended to express. So your thought is important. Your words are important. Your voice is important. So let it be heard.
What do you think are some of the keys to your success?
Wow. I think some of the keys to my success is I'm a hard worker. I believe in putting in the energy and putting in the effort and working well with others. Also surrounding myself with those that are experts in the area that I want to be in and not being afraid to ask questions if I don't know anything. There's no such thing as a stupid question. It's only if you do the task and you don't do it well and you don't do it right because you didn't ask what was required of you or what was needed from you. I believe in giving back. Where much is given, much is required. So even the little successes that you come across in life, it's important to pass those on to someone that may not be as experienced as you or may not be as informed as you, that may not even be as financially secure as you. It's okay to pull one as you climb because the blessings are paid forward. I think that's a part of my success as well. And, of course, education. You know, I'm a huge advocate, like I said from the beginning. So, you know, you want to train, you want to study, you want to learn everything, not just about whatever occupation you want to go into, but it's about life and to travel and to experience the world in different cultures because it's not just all one-sided. You know, we live in a world where everybody has to intertwine together, so it's very important that you know how to work with others as well as your own.
How do you think parents can relate more to their children?
Wow. Now, that's a trick question for me because I'm not a parent, although I do run a school where I've been a very good mom to thousands of children. But I do believe it takes a village to raise a child. So if you do have children, you know, I believe in the extended family within your village. So be it your grandparents, your aunts, your cousins, or even great friends. I'm a godmommy to many. So surround yourself by pillars of strength, you know, and don't think that you can just do it all by yourself. And a great way to relate to the children that I found out, a lot of kids don't speak openly with their parents, but if there is an advocate that can stand in the gap for you, utilize that because it's very important, and they may be able to prevent crisis or they may be able to intervene on your behalf. But you can't do it alone, and I don't believe that parenting is just a one-man or two-person job. I really believe it takes a village to raise a child. So expand your village with people that you can trust and are trustworthy and that you honor and respect their opinion. Thank you for having me, and talk up, Youth!
Talk up, Youth, Mr. Talk up, Youth.
In Jamaica.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Talk Up Youth, giving the youth a voice. Keep the conversations alive and help us to continue to find solutions for all our problems. Twitter and Facebook is at Talk Up Youth, hashtag TALKUPYOUT, and on Facebook, Talk Up Youth TV show. See you then.
Talk Up Yout is powered by National Baking Company in association with Crown Water, a Stanley and Empress production, giving the youth a voice.